Alright guys, welcome back into another PGA DFS video. My name is Eric Paulson with 9 to 5 Sports. Going to begin to the RBC Heritage Picks. You guys already know the show format for this video. We're going to begin to the top 4 picks in each price point tier, highlighting the core plays after that. We're going to begin to the fades as well. Brooks Koepka. Still find it weird that he was chalk last week. That was still strange. I don't know. I don't get that. I warned you guys. You guys already know why he was a bad play last week. And then after that, we're going to give you guys kind of a first look build, which has been really good over the past month now for you guys. But first, I want to get into the recap of last week. So last week, I should mention as well, this is going to be a little bit quicker version video, trimmed down version video this week. Not going to have the bells and whistles like I typically would. I was making some updates a little bit to the 9 to 5 cheat sheet there. So that kind of tied up my time tonight, so I didn't have time to do the graphic side of it. So apologize for that. But looking at the Masters, so just looking at the top 5 picks in the 9 to 5 model, we can see very spot on. Sky Scheffler obviously won. I do want to point out another tool after this. Well, I'll point it out real quick here. So we got the Golf Majors tab here. This is something where they were hanging a really good number out there for Scotty for like the past 5 weeks or so now, even though he was rated as like a top, well, he kept climbing, but like top 8 play. And he was by far like the best standout odds when you're just looking at like the 9 to 5 model. So I was in Vegas about, well, for the opening weekend of March Madness. Placed an outright bet on him in there. So that was fun. You know, easy to hit him. He was like 25 to 1 then. But that's just the way you guys can use it. Okay, so just another tool that you guys can use. Got all the 3 upcoming majors there as well. More general, more like an overview, like course history, recent form, obviously, but then just looking at general stats, not a specific stats per se, but it's still pretty accurate, obviously. But yeah, really good stuff there from the 9 to 5 model, especially looking at the top 10. And then we just want to look at like the core plays, high exposure plays. You guys know this, but the top 7 players, 4 of them finished top 10 or better. That was awesome. And I kind of brought up the outright betting as well because, well, obviously Scotty being like the favorite to win at, you know, less than 10 to 1 odds, not really a bet that anyone's going to make. The bets that I did make, you know, I really had a pretty good shot to, I just shouldn't say win because Scotty absolutely dominated, but you know, they're all right there. I'll do pretty well. I mean, 3 of the 5 outright bets finished top 5 or better. And I always tell people, hey, I can just give you guys the best outright bets that are at good numbers. You guys can choose to do what you want with them. So obviously if you played Corey Connors top 10 bet, that was really good. Or, you know, really any of these guys top 10 bet, that was really good. But just looking over the player pool again real quick. So core plays, high exposure plays, mid exposure plays. I mean, really solid through and through. Like this is where you're making a majority of your builds, and we only had 1 miscut. Louis Oosthuizen withdrew from there. That's obviously not a miscut technically. It's a withdrawal. That's how I categorize it there. But yeah, really solid, easy to cash last week through and through. And then even if we throw in like the low exposure plays as well, only 2 miscuts there as well. So, you know, really just a strong week. Then we toss in like the value tier, pretty much the lower exposure plays is what I call them on 9 to 5. That's where we get a couple more miscuts from like Brian Harmon and then Abraham Answer, Gary Woodland, some values as well. And that's where I kind of want to bring up a point as well. Like Xander Schauffele, just the correct pick. We kind of can tell that based off of all this as well. Sometimes that doesn't work out. And that's really been the theme like the last, I don't know, 3 weeks or so, is that these high-end safe plays have not been coming through, where these low-end, not safe plays, like Corey Connors was a safe play last week, but like him, have been coming through for the top 10s. It's just like if that high exposure safe play can come through, it's going to be a really, really strong week, even though last week was a strong week. But just talking about this week that we got coming up, I'm just going to switch it over into the cheat sheet. You guys can see the updates here. This is a course in which it's very water-lined. There's like 18 holes with water hazards in play. And I do have that fun stat that I can pull up for you guys as well here. So let's just do that. That'll be fun. So we're going to go to the 9 to 5 specialist page, and we're going to touch in all the water hazards that are in play. Let's just do like 10 plus water hazards in play. And there's actually a decent amount of sample size here. So we can see here who has the best average finish on courses with over 10 water hazards in play. And I would say 10, 10 is a decent amount of water hazards in play. That's enough trouble off the tee on a significant amount of holes. That's a pretty good measure. And we can see the lowest amount of starts that we have for a golfer is Mito Pereira at 4, especially this high. I mean, that's pretty good. So JT number 1, Webb Simpson number 2, Patrick Cantlay number 3, DJ number 4, Daniel Berger number 5, Ian Poulter number 6, then Noren, Fleetwood, Morikawa, Shane Lowry. So yeah, a pretty good sample size there. Kind of just a fun stat, but this is a course in which you can find trouble. And another thing that I want to point out is that we can see two really differences between this tournament. Okay, 3 and 4 years ago, the wind played a big factor. It was 20 plus mile per hour winds and like 30 plus mile per hour winds. So the cut line was even par, and the winning score was like -12 those years. Whereas the last 2 years, it's played a lot easier, and so the cut line has been like -3, and the winning score has been on average -20. So really, the weather's going to dictate how this tournament is going to play. But through and through, this is just a strokes gained tee to green course. You got to be accurate off the tee, but there also are some spots where you can challenge it off the tee as well. It's going to be a course in which I'm really looking heavily at birdie to bogey ratio. Want a golfer that's not going to be making that many mistakes, and that's kind of something we could look at as well here. Let's see if I still have it pulled up. It is. Let's just look at birdie to bogey ratio on those stats as well, or on this stat as well. Golfers that aren't finding trouble. Now we're going to get some smaller sample size from Alex Smalley, Davis Riley, but then we're seeing Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay, Webb Simpson, Shane Lowry, Sanjay M, Kevin Truman. So those guys are all guys that are not making that many mistakes. Birdie to bogey ratio, they're not making that many mistakes. So that is something that I'm going to be looking at as well this week. But really just looking at kind of general stats because, well, one, the COVID year in 2020 kind of skewed the data a little bit. And then the bad weather also kind of skewed the data a little bit for like what typically would pop key stat wise. It's just good golf is pretty much the key stat here for this week. But let's get into it, guys. So I'm just going to be highlighting the top 4 picks in each price point here like I always do. We're going to start off with Justin Thomas. So one thing that I did, one of the updates that I did is just like you click on the player here and then you click on the player profile tab and it's just going to pull this up. It's kind of still in beta here. Going to make it probably bigger here in the next week or so, but just kind of a fun tool, easy way to look at it. So we can see recent form has been very solid from JT. 8th, 35th, 3rd, 33rd, 8th, 6th, 20th, 5th. It's no surprise that he's, just really strong in recent form rank. Second best pick in the 9-5 model. He finished 8th at this tournament last year. He's going to be a really strong play, just pretty much through and through. First best staff in the field, 4th best specialist in the field. You guys already saw kind of the water stat that I put out there for you guys, but top pick in the 9-5 mile, just a strong play. Obviously, it's the highest price player in the slate, but to me, I do think we are going to be able to fit him in if we choose to go that route this week. The next player that I like is going to be Matthew Fitzpatrick, top 6 pick in the 9-5 mile, and he's just been on a tear, guys. 14th, 5th, 10th, 6th over his last 4 starts, and then prior to that, not as good as we would typically want, but really strong course history here. 4th, 14th, 39th, 14th. So really good stuff there from Matthew Fitzpatrick. Overall, he's going to be a top 15 stat fit, which has a current price point that, we'd want a little bit more out of him stat fit wise. Let's see what stats popping up there the worst for him. Birdie to bogey ratio over the last 10 weeks. So he's been making a little bit too many bogeys. Well, I'm not too worried about that, especially with him as a pick at that price point. Then really Russell Henley, guys. Russell Henley, to me, just at this price point, once again, he's a guy where you just can't continue to roll with him until he lets you down, really, at this point. There's no reason not to. He's just been a cut maker through and through. 30th at the Masters, he really was actually striking the ball pretty well. Maybe it was a little bit of course knowledge that was gained to him because he was hitting a ton of greens and the ball just kept rolling away from the green as opposed to rolling towards the green. And obviously it's Augusta, so that's going to happen a lot. But I was really impressed with his approach game, really, other than the fact that he really didn't know where to miss or I guess hit it. But making a ton of bogeys, making a ton of birdies. I'm hoping that those bogeys go away and those birdies continue to be there, because if he has a week in which he just doesn't make as many bogeys, he's going to be right there to win like he has been, at the Sony Open. He's just been a strong play, pretty much a top 30 locked in. And that's something I can appreciate. So he's a top 6 stat fit, 4th best recent form, 6th best specialist. Course history could be better with 2 missed cuts in a row, but he did finish 9th here last year. So that's really encouraging for him as a pick. And then I'm just going back to the well with Corey Connors, kind of same thing. Just I can't quit these guys. That's kind of one of the things I do in fantasy golf is I continue to roster a golfer until they let me down. And Corey Connors is one of those golfers that just hasn't let me down just yet. I do wish he was a better pick in the 9-5 model. Course history could be better, but 4th, 21st, and then 2 missed cuts there. Obviously, those 2 missed cuts 4 years ago now, but it was bad weather. It does worry me a little bit, but pretty strong recent form. Obviously, 6th place last week, 35th at the Valero, played really well at the Dell Match Play Tournament, 26th, 11th, 38th, and then a missed cut. Then 11th, 22nd, 40th. We can just see really strong golf from him through and through, and that's something that I really appreciate about him. And he does seem like a safe pick at this price point, and that's really all we're looking for at that price point. Now we're going to drop down into that mid-tier price point here and really going to start off with Webb Simpson. So Webb Simpson, it was kind of the tale of two halves with him. Start off really well, and I don't know if it was just like fatigue getting to him, but he did fall off. He fell off last week, finished 35th after being top 10 after round 1. That's all right. Still encouraging. He's finding ways to make the cut, even though he still might be a little bit bothered by an injury, even though it might still be kind of changing his swing dynamic a little bit. I didn't see it as much as I did at the Sony Open when he really struggled. It seems like it has been getting better. So it does seem like, strong course history. I mean, guys, he's finished 9th, 1st, 6th, and 5th. But also, that's what he did at the Masters as well. Okay, so the reason why we're playing him is because of that okay recent form. He's not going to be a good stat fit. Only ranks 29th in the field because, well, he just hasn't played that good this season thus far. But, we can use him as a pick just due to that course history. Probably not someone we're locking in as a core play. More or less probably going to be a mid-exposure play, going to be someone that we treat as kind of a lineup filler. He's similar-ish to like Shane Lowry last week, just at this price point where if you end up on him, you don't feel bad about it. You feel all right about it, and you're just going to kind of shoulder shrug and be good with it. After that, it's going to be tough to ignore like someone like Billy Horschel here at this price point as well. Course history, once again, could be better. 25th, missed cut, 45th, and a 5th place finish. So, he has made 3 out of 4 cuts here. Love that. Did have a top 10 finish as well. Love that as well. We can see, decent as well recent form-wise. I'm really shocked that he made the cut at the Masters, honestly, because he was like +7 and made like 4 birdies down the stretch to easily make the cut. But we can see those top upside finishes from him thus far this season. I mean, guys, he has 5 top 10s over the past year, and we can see 1, 2, 3 of them have come over his past 6 events. So it does seem like he's trending towards a victory as well. I do worry that he could potentially get into a little bit of trouble off the tee, but he is someone that has been playing safe golf as well, so maybe not too much. I mean, guys, he's the second best staff in the field, so throw that away, I guess. He just really needs to be a little bit better around the greens, and then he'll be fine. So, yeah, Billy Horschel at this price point makes sense that he's a top 10 pick in the 9-5 model. Maybe doesn't have as much upside as you would want from other players, but you could easily make a strong argument that he should be higher priced than Daniel Berger, maybe even Shane Lowry. Like, you can make that argument, and it'd probably be a strong argument. So, like him as a pick. Then looking at Alex Noren here as well, guys. So, Alex Noren, strong course history, 3 straight top 30 finishes here, which I absolutely love. We can see pretty good recent form out of him as well. Ranks out top 10 in recent form, rank 18th, 17th, 26th, 5th, 48th, 6th. I mean, that's really strong there. Top 30 stat fit, top 30 specialists in the field. Overall ranking out top 12 in the 9-5 model. To get that at 8.3, that's highly appealing to me. And I'm going to tell you right now, he's going to be a core play. He's going to be a core play later on. So pretty good pick as well. Then you guys know me. I can't quit my boy, Chris Kirk. Top 10 finisher last year, miscut the year prior to that, and then a 35th place finish. Kind of iffy recent form, I guess, if you will. Played well in his last event, has been right around taking down an event as well. Just need a little bit more out of him. But really, I kind of do worry about him missing the cut, but it's one of those kind of risk-reward plays for me this week. Now, dropping down to the low tier, we got Maverick McNeely. 4th place finisher last year, 58th the year before that. Really strong recent form, and 12 straight made cuts in a row. That tells us enough. So, 10th best recent form out of anyone in the field, 12th best staff out of anyone in the field, and then he's also a top 12 specialist, okay? Where he's getting knocked a little bit is going to be the course history, where he ranks 12th, but that's really good overall. Ranks out top 10 in the 9-5 model. Obviously, that's because he hasn't missed a cut. Ranking out top 12 in all 4 key metrics that we use. I mean, that's really good for Maverick McNeely. Does seem like a little bit of a misprice there. I don't want to say like DraftKings is forcing us into this play like they were with like Russell Henley and Corey Connors last week, but it's pretty close to that. I mean, there are other good options in this price point tier that I like, but just not as much probably. So like maybe if Maverick McNeely is too chalk, I would go with someone else. Like Matt Kuchar would be fine, I guess. Matt Kuchar has finished 18th, 41st, 2nd, and 23rd at this course, so obviously he likes it. It's not a long track. It's one where you have to be smart off the tee. You can't be making that many mistakes. Obviously, he's a golfer that does play smart golf. He has been playing much better than he was kind of at the start of the season. So 2 missed cuts there, and then a 67th, 14th, and a 2nd. So we do like to see that encouraging recent form out of him. Obviously 10th in course history rank. That's really strong from Matt Kuchar. Not going to rank out the best in the model because he did really suck at the start of the year. So his recent form and stat fit is not that good. But, you know, top 26 pick in the 9 to 5 model at this price point, that's going to be a good play for you. And then looking at Adam Hadwin. So Adam Hadwin, 3 straight top 10 finishes. I mean, that is really spectacular there from him. And, you know, for the most part, this whole season, he has been playing bad golf. It's just when he has played bad golf, it was really bad, if you will, because those 2 missed cuts were pretty brutal. But, you know, 3 straight top 10s, that's something you really can't ignore. He's made 2 out of 3 cuts here, but none of them were really good finishes. That's really going to be my worry with him, is that, you know, really this should be a course that he plays well at. He just hasn't. So that's a little bit of the worry. You know, probably for me, going to be a low exposure play, not someone you're really going out of your way to play, but someone you want some exposure to, just given the upside that he's shown recently. So not a terrible pick, but not a pick that I absolutely love. Not a pick that I'm saying, hey, I have to go out of my way to roster this guy. And I'm not exactly there with EVR, but EVR has been playing, you know, pretty good golf as well. Missed a cut at the Masters. Wasn't really expecting him to do much. Kind of thought he would do well at the Dell Match Play Tournament. So 2 straight weeks in which he hasn't played well. But, you know, although I kind of expected him to do better than he did at the Dell Match Play Tournament, I don't think really anyone else was expecting too much out of him that week. Take it how you will. He has shown upside, I guess, prior to that, where he had a lot of consistency mixed in there. It's just kind of a play where, you know, he had been playing good golf. He's a top 10 staffed in the field. Obviously finished 21st here last year. Getting a little bit skewed data-wise because that, you know, top 16 pick. You know, probably more or less top 20, but a pick that I do like at that price point. A pick that I will be using a little bit, maybe not a lot, but a little bit there as well. And then that's the 4 picks in that price point tier. We're going to get into the value tier now, guys. So the value tier is decent as well. Not something I overly love, but it's decent. So where you could play Adam Hadwin at about $1,000 more, you could just go with Beau Hossler for kind of the same reason. So 4th, miscut, 20th, 16th, 48th. So okay there. He's made missed 2 cuts here and then made a cut, finishing top 26. We can see, you know, just a little bit better as of recent from him. And he's someone where, God, I didn't even touch on that last week because I was too bummed out. That 150 to 1 sitting right there, like on the 10th hole, where pretty much in the driver's seat. I know JJ Spawn had made a birdie. I think Hossler was down by 1 on that par 5 where he hit the world's worst bunker shot ever seen. I mean, guys, he sculled that into the woods like 50 yards. It was like a 20-yard bunker shot through the pin. That was brutal. That was more brutal, I think, than Cam Smith's triple bogey this week. Probably. Yeah, that was painful. I mean, that's stuff I don't even do on the golf course. Skull a bunker shot 50 yards into the woods. I mean, that was terrible from Beau Hossler. But, hey, he still played good golf that week. We'll take that from him. Beau Hossler at this price point, given those recent upside finishes, I'll take that. But we can see, if we look further than that, 64th in recent form race. So you really don't want to go crazy with it. It's someone that, you know, 5% of builds, maybe 8, 10% of builds, you could find a way to play him. Just not someone you want to go crazy with this week. And then kind of same thing with Nate Lashley. Nate Lashley is the exact same play as Beau Hossler, just cheaper. Okay. So he's finished 18th, 15th, 27th, and 7th. You know, really has actually been playing some much better golf than Beau Hossler as of recent. Honestly, I'm a little bit shocked at this price point from Nate Lashley. We know he's a guy that I guess 2 years ago was a really strong player, kind of fell off, but playing much better golf. And really, this just seems like he should have been $500 more expensive. So is he a lock to make the cut? No. Is he mispriced? Yes. It gives you a decent chance to make the cut. Same thing for Matthew Naismith. I'm sure you guys have probably all heard this story now, but he proposed to his wife at this course. Obviously, he really has strong course ties here. He's from South Carolina boy. Had a recent upside finish mixed in prior to the Valero Texas Open, and playing good enough golf. And at this price point, with those local narratives, with those course narratives, and with the course history somewhat backing it up, 48th, 33rd place finish from him. I believe he had the first round lead 2 years ago. So he's obviously a guy that really likes this course. And to get him with those narratives at this price point, that's highly appealing to me. I don't want to say he's a cash play because obviously he's priced at this price point for a reason. But, if you could fit in 4 other studs and then a shoulder shrug and then be at this price point range with Matthew Naismith, and I always kind of mentioned this on the 95 write-up, if you could schedule in a miscut, like Xander wasn't scheduling in a miscut, but him missing the cut didn't really hurt you that much in terms of having a profitable week. Now, obviously, it hurt you JPP-wise, upside-wise, but you get a guy who probably will make the cut at 6.6, and really all you want from a value play is for them to make the cut. Decent price point there for Matthew Naismith. And then the last one here is going to be Michael Thompson. Not much on it, just 4 straight made cuts here at this tournament. That's appealing enough for me at his price point. Now I'm going to get into the core plays here, and then we'll be getting to the fades and then the value plays. So I already mentioned one of the core plays. I don't want to say Justin Thomas is a core play. He's the highest priced player on the slate. Okay, you guys know to play the best players. So it's pretty much as simple as that. But I already did mention the core plays for you guys this week, so I'm going to just touch on it, kind of fast here. So Matt Fitzpatrick going to be a core play here, just pulling up here. Top 6 pick in the 9-5 model, top 15 Stafford, 11th in recent form, 5th in course history. Just a strong pick, and at 9.5, that does seem a little bit priced down for the player that he is. I'm going to continue to roll with Russell Henley until he lets me down. Maybe this is going to be the week that he lets me down, but it's just been a strong golfer really this whole season. 16 straight made cuts in a row. Finished 9th here last year, and then prior to that, 2 missed cuts. But really, as we can see, not terrible missed cuts there. 4th best recent form, 6th best staff fit, 6th best specialist. A little bit surprising there. Getting knocked in course history, obviously because of those 2 missed cuts, but really just a strong play from Russell Henley. He is priced up a little bit this week, so that would be your worry. A little bit cheaper play is going to be Alex Noren, 3 straight made cuts here in a row at this tournament. Also really strong recent form out of him. Top 10 in recent form rank, not as good of a stat fit, 24th there. Top 12 pick in the 9-5 model. And we're also looking at Maverick McNeely. Once again, continuing the strong recent form. McNeely has just been in strong recent form, and he also has good course history. He finished 4th and 58th here. Really just been a stud through and through. That's really, there's not that much to say about him. 35th, 17th, 46th, 73rd, not that good there. 33rd, 30th, 27th. If we can lock in a top 30 finish out of him at this price point, I'll absolutely take it. Now we're going to get into the fades here real quick for you. And I did add a new tool here. This is going to be the matchup bets. It's kind of simple. So they'll be considered in groups. That's how they're going to be denoted there. And then you can kind of just click through it and see. You can see, let's just look at number 1. This is from last week. This is going to update on Tuesday nights, because that's when we get kind of that's when that stuff comes out. But let's see here. So this is actually from this. This would be from this week's data. If they were matching up against each other, Corey Connors would be more likely to win than Matt Fitzpatrick. This might be from last week. I have to check that. I'm sorry. It's a new tool that I put in there, but I know the odds still need to be updated. But just another way of looking at it, just another avenue for you guys to use the matchup tool. If you guys want to use it for your matchup bets, you can kind of see why someone is popping up more than the other. And this one actually hit in like 71% of the matchup bets last week, which was freaking awesome. Xander was the big letdown last week. But Harold Varner III. So I do worry that Harold Varner is going to be chalky just because he has been kind of getting a lot of TV time, really. And, people like that win that he had like a month ago now on not really a real event. Played well at the Masters, though, but we can see a little bit, poor recent form. 2 missed cuts mixed in there, not enough consistency for me. And with a guy that has 3 straight missed cuts here, that does worry me. I did finish second here as well, but risk reward, I think the risk is a little bit too much for him as a pick. And kind of going along the same theme of I just think he's going to be talked about too much. I think Tommy Fleetwood is going to be a player that I want to stay away from this week. Doesn't rank out poorly in the 9-5 mile, top 20 in the 9-5 mile, but not someone I'm overly crazy about as a pick as well. And then Jordan Spieth this week. Jordan, you talk about struggling off the tee. Well, he has been struggling off the tee, but he's really been struggling with the putter more so than he really has. That's really been his poor fit there, but still, top 25 in the 9-5 mile as current price tag. That's a little bit too much for me. Given the poor course history, given kind of the poor recent form, that's just, I don't want to say it's an easy stay away because Jordan Spieth, he can find magic really any week, but for me, there's other better plays in that price point tier that I'd much rather play. And then Ian Poulter, strong course history, really not too poor of recent form, just someone that I don't really want to play this week. And then we do have the ownership leverage here that I can show you guys as well. So last week, I want to point this out. If it's not as, it should be pretty direct, but last week, the only bad play was Brooks Koepka. He was I forget what he was, 56 in ownership leverage rank. Pretty much telling you guys, terrible play. Don't play him. At that price point, he's not going to pay it off for you guys. He was the only one that was in the red in the high tier price point tier. And that's because, DraftKings has done a really good job at pricing the high tier price point tier to the point where you can kind of justify any play. That's what I want to point out here is that you can really justify any one of these plays as of right now. Obviously, when the ownership projections start getting more accurate throughout the week, we're going to see this change a little bit more. But as it sits right now, really everyone is looking like a strong play. Yeah, let's get into that lineup tool, and then I'll begin out of here for you guys. It's actually ended up being a long video. I apologize. A lot to go over, and I'm tired. It's 12 in the morning now that I'm recording this, so I apologize for that. But let's get into it. So typically I like to use the core plays, so let's find those core plays. Maverick McNeely, Alex Noren. Don't know if I'll be able to fit them all in here. Yeah, I don't think I will be. Russell Henley, and then who's the other one? Matt Fitzpatrick. I told you guys it's late. I'm struggling right now. Let's see here. So from there, who can we go with? Who's a play that I mentioned that I feel good with as a play? I do like Matt Kuchar this week. Let's toss in Matt Kuchar in there. Let's see how much salary we left over. Not that much salary left over. Can't really make anything good work here, but let's do the Matthew Naismith route. Let's hope for a make cut from a guy. 53% chance to make the cut. I have a lot of salary left over, actually, if I go that route. Still not a bad play. 71% chance to get 6 across the cut line, which is kind of just, this echoes what I was saying earlier, is that, sure, there might not be a ton of studs this week, I guess, but given the pricing and given how the lineup pass is going to work this week, it's going to be easy to make a good build. It's not, you're not going to feel great about it, but 2 weeks ago where it's you didn't love it, and then last week where there wasn't much to it. Last week was really easy lineup construction wise, whereas this week there are a ton of quality similar plays that you could go with. So let's get Matthew Naismith out of there, and then let's see who we can get in there instead. Troy Money Merritt, let's just toss him in there for now. All right, Troy Money Merritt, you guys know I'm going to play him. He's my guy. Got to roster him here. But you can see I did have the projected ownership total. This is going to be the total for that week. Obviously, once the ownership projections get finalized throughout the week, that's going to be there. But 72% chance to get 6 for 6, really strong there. Average mile rank 16th, average recent form rank 14th, course history rank 24th, and then stat rank 25th. And I do want to mention I've been posting some actionable lineup paths out there, narrative lineups, if you will, on Twitter. And the last 2 weeks, 3 out of 4 of them have cashed. And really the one that you would have said, yeah, I don't want to play that lineup, didn't. So, good stuff there as well. But that's all I have for you guys this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's a video that actually ended up running longer, and I know it didn't have all the bells and whistles that it typically does, but hopefully you guys got a lot of value out of this video, and hopefully we have a good week this week. If you guys want to join 9 to 5 Nation, the best value in PGA DFS, $10 a month for all the tools that you just saw, plus the lineup builder, plus the showdown picks from round 2 to round 4. You really can't beat it. So hopefully you guys join. If you don't, I do appreciate it. Like and subscribe. All right, that's all I have for you. And as always, let's keep cashing.